Hello. Bro, what's with the chat window? What does it want from me? Conectează-te că the discuți în chat. Just sent a message. What's wrong with it, man? Will it disappear? Anyway. Porque and work. Hope it will. Don't think it's gonna disappear. That's strange. I saw a VOD from Tekken. He had the same problem. Maybe I can just crop it. Oh, my message disappeared, but this shit didn't. I guess I'll crop it. Transform. Oh, look how much of it is getting cropped. Again. Jack, I genuinely forgot we have PGR today. My friends were convincing me to not stream PGR. They said, don't do it to yourself, Valics. That game so bad. Okay, I should be back. I petted my cat again and I don't know, man. He does something to my headset. If I pet him, the headset turns off. I don't know why. Not an engineer. Wolves. I know I was off because it's not just microphone. The headset is not working at all, and the sound goes back to the boxes.
I have plenty of time. So.
The game's so bad. Oh, so the Kuro games censored me. Static electricity. I can understand static electricity, but why it's like turning off my headset, man? Leave my headset alone, electricity. Yo, we have a free pull. One free? I'll pull. Yo, nice. Anything else? letting me choose. Whoa. So we got some weapon. Alright. I haven't actually logged in PGR for 2 weeks. Damn. Even I log in more than you. Any bullshit claimable for using stamina? Claiming y'all, praying they won't take it back from me. The song I picked. For 1 week passes. Box, yo, look at all these gifts. Guys, ready for Christmas? Imbus? I had a friend that had a desk lamp. When he was turning the lamp on, the mouse and keyboard were disconnecting. That sounds like wiring in the house. Easy with Kenshin event in FGO and winter event in Nikke. Event. Okay, so I bookmarked the bullshit. Guess I'll have to read a little bit in the logs. Wanted to make you listen to this song at some point. Looks like you're ahead of the times. I picked the song a long time ago. This. Yo, it's claimable. Don't know what it is. Probably something great. I'm not missing days on PGR. No way. Oh, that was like months ago. People kept telling me like, change the song in the main menu, and I said yes. Nah, I picked this one and it stayed. Alright, let me go to... Old lady was talking some shit. Christmas, Limbus, what? You follow Limbus? I said Crimbus. Crimbus. I was not thinking about Limbus. Yo, Lucia, we can all sing together. I'll pass. Oh, Lee, I'll pass. I remember that. The music, hot porridge, warm the hearts of the despondent crowd as they join in the chorus and clap along. They find solace in the melancholic lyric. Let's see how look how long this is. How long this is. How long must I scroll, man? How long must I scroll? Holy shit, man. No, I should cut myself like getting angry at this node and name the video like HA3 fanboy rage quits PGR on stream on chapter 17, the best chapter so far. Up. This is also kind of comfort. Where's Lee? Oh, Kali. Hold your hands. I walk on the whole crowd singing stuff. I think I'll pass. Only PGR and Vuva. Some Endfield. I think Valics saw some interesting stuff. In the game I did. Endfield. Anyway, let's go. I started late today, right? Okay, when that time comes, we can all sing together. Lee said, I'll pass. The music and hot porridge warm the hearts of the despondent crowd as they join in the chorus and clap along. They find solace in the melancholic lyrics rather than rely on false hope. They use the song to unload their grievances and shed tears, leaving only faint echoes of their cries. Jock, see? What did I say? Playing music might not fix anything, but getting your feeling off your chest is better than holding them in. Kali, that song. Listening to the song, the old man's lips begin to tremble and his eyes brim with tears. Yeah, the old man that has cancer like in all of his organs. Liv, what's wrong? Old lady, he is fine. An old man like him, he's probably just thinking about the past. As people get older, some things become more clear, regardless of the song or a sack of rice. Shivers and lights a precious rolled cigarette as her eyes sink to memories. Old lady, during the Golden Age, livestock and farmland were run by machines. After the meltdown of the zero-point reactor, food sources were cut off. After such a long time, it was difficult for people to take up farming and raising livestock, but some people managed to do it. Not many people were able to, comma, while also fighting the corrupted. Or even period. They were able to while people talked about taking seeds back to find safe places to plant crops. All you need is one potato. But once there weren't any corrupted people desperate for food came to seize all of our hard work. She raises her hardened gaze and looks around at the refugees sitting in the basement. Old lady, just like the Great Winter Famine in the historical records, there was no stable yield of food for a long time. People could only take what they could get their hands on. Without livestock or produce, we resorted to eating birds and mice. People even scavenged in areas with hordes of corrupted, but few returned. So people began to breed something that they could raise quickly and that others hated. Began to breed something that they could raise quickly and that others hated? Breed animals, not plants. She takes out the half remaining rolled cigarette and draws something about 4 centimeters in length with her hands. Doesn't say what it was, but everyone understands what she meant. Draws something about 4 centimeters in length. But there wasn't much left to feed those pesky insects, so they couldn't raise enough to be made into protein blocks like the movies in the Golden Age. And normally people wouldn't have touched them. But worst came to worst, even those were taken. Some kind of animals? If this went unchecked, we would have filled our stomachs with everything and there wouldn't be anything left. If this went unchecked, we would have filled our stomachs with everything and there wouldn't be anything left. The rules were made and spread through word of mouth. Seeds must be left behind. Offspring and fish eggs are not to be eaten. Plant roots must remain in the soil. Pregnant animals and their food are not to be disturbed unless there is an emergency. Once people began to abide by these rules, we noticed some improvement. Animals could be seen in the mountains and forests, and seedlings sprout in areas that were harvested. It helped us get through our darkest time. The old folks who lived through that era still remember it. But the disaster didn't spare us, it only got worse every day. Sometimes people break the rules when they can no longer take the hunger. Sometimes people break the rules when they can no longer, I assume. And once the rules are broken, those that suffer have no choice but to do the same. That's when we met Cheese. We didn't know his real name, but that's what he was eating when we saw him. Cheese was so rare at the time that that's what we decided to call him. She takes a deep drag of her cigarette. Ash rolls down her fingers, but she doesn't seem to mind. She just sighs in the thick cloud of smoke. Nothing I'm proud of. We thought he was well off seeing him eat cheese next to a field he lived by. We thought he was well off him eat cheese next to a field he lived by. That old geezer snuck into his field to steal food for us to eat, but didn't leave him any seeds. That old geezer snuck into his field to steal food for us to eat. His field. To steal. I can't read. I guess the person she was with. He and his wife barely made it through the winter, but the baby in her belly didn't make it. The first time we heard this song was when he was kneeling in his empty field, holding his wife who had fainted from crying as he sang to her. Ooh. Let's not do that. We don't wanna appear on the PGR subreddit for the wrong reason. I'm not using Reddit. 4 fucking generators on a line. Ratios in Endfield are perfect. For the factories, I did enjoy that a lot. Reading rats. Rats are delicious. By the way, today was the first day of Bloody Sun after 1 month of darkness. 1 month without a sun. Old lady. The first time we heard this song. We didn't have the heart to go up and confess what we have done. We sent him some supplies, but they moved away shortly after. Since then, we've had the habit of leaving seeds for everything we eat. Even if no one cares about this rule, we can't break it ourselves. So they were stealing and leaving seeds behind them. Even though the conservation areas have already been built, there's still room to raise crops and livestock there. But as you all have seen, this stuff won't last very many days if anything bad happens. She shakes her head, then snuffs out her cigarette. Well, enough of me rambling out these trifles of the past. The porridge should be ready now. Let's dig in. Yeah. The refugees who already become too preoccupied with thoughts of the long-awaited porridge to listen to her story suddenly spring to life. Surprised by excitement, the constructs resting in the nearby room walk out. Let's start serving everyone. Sure. Everyone form a line, no need to push and shove. Got it. Everyone grabs a spoon and lines up, holding their own tableware containers enthusiastically, paying extra attention that they receive their fair share. Jin holds the porridge carefully, salutes the construct soldiers and leaves, then returns to Lindsay's bed. Old Kali, having not eaten for 3 days, takes a bite out of his wife's porridge under her persuasion. Stanley, Shrek, Fantine, everyone except for the wounded who are still unconscious gets a bowl of warm porridge. The heat from the bowl in their hands warms their spirit as people sit down and enjoy this rare delicacy. Leave. Oh, Lucia is there also? While the crowd is distracted by their meal, Lucia calls Liv aside in a low voice. Yeah? Come with me. Oh. Was never that bad. What the hell? It wasn't like this. What the hell? How do you switch? Warzone app. Interesting. Anyway. Wait, what? Speedrun mode. Speedrunning. You can't speedrun reading, bro. Yeah, I can play only as Plume. I assume this is when the game started to give you like constructs, like their own constructs, not yours. A bug, most likely. Never saw it like that. I guess it works only if you like bookmark it. In the dark room, Vanessa is stirring her porridge in her cup with an exquisite coffee spoon. Commandant Valics is lying on the bed next to her, still unconscious. What's wrong? Surprised I'm eating porridge from a cup? I know it's not exactly my style, but I like to make the best of things when a situation is out of my control. I'm sure you've realized by now, Babylonia is cut off aid. What? They've had obviously been too busy taking care of everyone to realize this fact. Since the last rescue operation failed, if you ask them about their next operation or their change in tactics, they always give a vague response. They're also not providing regular contact. Whenever I contact them, they just give the same response. Lucia also got the same response too. It's nothing too unusual. They've just postponed support operations to this area for the time being. They've done this in the past. It's just the first time I've experienced it. Guess your indifference means you've all been mentally prepared for this? Looks like we're on our own for now. Yeah, it's unrealistic to expect to be rescued under these circumstances. I'd do the same if I were in charge. It's the only logical solution. Aside from that, there's some good news and bad news. The good news is, even though Babylonia has cut off support, they haven't blocked my access to GPS intel. The bad news is, based on this GPS intel, the unidentified twins have entered City 042. What are you guys gonna do? Our location is dangerous. With our numbers, we'll suffer losses if we run into any hostile encounters. I want to disperse the 164 people gathered into several teams, which is more conducive to action. We've had some more refugees join over the past few days. We now have 172 people and a dog, but that doesn't include us and the commandant. We're already at 172 people. Decentralization is definitely conducive to dealing with emergencies. I don't know this word. But it'll take more time to retreat. We'd better get ready immediately. On the way, we also need to deal with 3 problems: high punishing concentration, lack of food and energy, and hetero creature attacks. Protective gear can protect us against the punishing concentration. We don't have enough for everyone, but we can move them in waves. The second problem is difficult to solve. All we can do is move slowly. As for the third problem, we'll just have to defeat it with everyone. Where can we move everyone? Safe zones adjacent to CT-043, cities 46, 44 and 45. We just came from CT-045. Their conservation area is already full after taking in refugees from CT-044. And personnel from CT-046 were evacuated after their CPF was damaged, so it's been vacant for some time. The CPF has since been repaired, but it's quite the distance from here. Not to mention, the people living there aren't exactly accepting of outsiders. No, that's an understatement, and it'll lead to inaccurate danger assessment. They're a group of armed scavengers that'll attack and rob outsiders. CT-44 is completely empty, but the CPF still hasn't been repaired. Hetero creatures have swarmed the perimeter, so they may converge into the red tide at any moment. Looks like there isn't any ideal location. Are you going to find a place for them to live and work in peace? Is the next step to investigate whether the soil is suitable for agriculture? She gracefully eats a spoonful of her porridge, then laughs sardonically. Just find a refuge for them to hold out for the time being. Wait for the twins to leave CT-043, then return and repair the damaged buildings. The world will be used up no matter how big it is, as long as they keep treading toward the unknown. The world will be used up no matter how big it is? If Valics was conscious right now, I'm sure the commandant would resort to the same guerrilla tactics. You think you know Valics? Thinks you're a bitch, by the way. Vanessa set down her spoon and just laughs coldly at Lee. Let's temporarily divide the crowd into 3 groups for evacuation. Those who can move freely will wear protective gear and follow the safety route. We'll plan to bypass the potential battle zone where the red tide may converge and proceed to CT-044. Two constructs will act as guards, while en route, the refugees should refrain from removing their protective gear. They will return once safe living conditions are confirmed in CT-044. Understood. We'll have some of the wounded take supplies to CT-045. While I searched the area, I found a warehouse with a small filtering device. The conditions are poor, but people can survive there with some simple protection. For the third team, we'll take the commandant, Vanessa, Bambinata, and the rest of the wounded to CT-046. Regardless of how hostile they are to outsiders, they can't do much against constructs. That sure was quick. I expect nothing less from the chief. This may solve the problems caused by the threat of insufficient materials and the twins, but that doesn't cover everything, don't you know? Constructs need to protect the refugees from hetero creatures while in transit. Some of the wounded will need to be transported out. Humans will need protective gear, but we don't have enough for each person. That means the group going to City 046 will be unprotected. Correct. But there's one more thing. We can't avoid casualties along the way. I hope you have seen your fair share of hardship and cruelty, Grey Raven. Yeah, we saw what you did, bitch. Don't disrupt the team with the illusions of saving everyone. What do you mean? Seems like you guys have been spending too much time trying to rescue people out there. We don't know how many people will actually be able to keep up. I'm sure Liv can enlighten you. We can't take the wounded all at once. They also can't move quickly in the state that they're in. And our vehicles don't have the capacity for everyone. Are you planning to leave people behind if we run out of time? Exactly, but only if time is of the essence. I don't want people's lives to be sacrificed in vain, but I don't want to risk the success of the mission. And I don't want this to be a point of contention between us. Anything that you're not happy about? Or are you still expecting Valics to regain consciousness and come up with some big-brained solution that won't require anyone to be sacrificed? If not, I'll be the active commandant here. This is the only way we can save the most lives. If worse comes to worse, who do you think is most likely to encounter danger? Me and Bambinata? Those refugees who still have the strength to run? Or that comatose commandant of yours? Forget it. After all, a puppet led by Valics will just shout, "I'll protect everyone," then rush in and die. No point in asking you. Let's plan our next step. I still think it's necessary to evacuate the critically injured to City 045 and 046 first. You're right. If we have time, they should go first. If the healthy refugees leave first, they may be left here for good. Looks like you've become well acquainted with the inferiority of humans. This doesn't make them inferior. Everyone just wants to live, so we need to plan. Whatever you say. The twins haven't made it to City 043 yet, but I've detected a large horde of hetero creatures from the north. 130 clicks. Huh? Question mark? They're headed right for us. Estimated time of arrival 8 hours. How many? Roughly over 100. Can we hold them off? No, Liv. If they've already grouped up, there are more than 100. I saw something similar in City 044. There's bound to be more beyond your detection range. There may be 10 or even 100 times more than that. If they find out where we're hiding, we won't be able to defend against such a large horde. Vanessa sneers to herself and eats the porridge in her cup, which had gone cold. Looks like we won't hold out until morning, so we should evacuate immediately. Understood, but I hope we proceed according to the plan. Evacuate the wounded first, then the other construct soldiers will escort those who can walk in an orderly manner, so that they can receive help from other stranded elite teams as soon as possible. Some of the wounded can live on the transport vehicles. After all, your commandant only needs one seat. But I advise you to give up on the latter. Strikehawk and Cerberus are in the same situation as us. They don't change the scene, man. There'll be more survivors in a base with doctors, but the team won't be able to transfer the influx of wounded. If none of the wounded had survived, this wouldn't be an issue. Please don't say something like that. As I said, there are going to be sacrifices along the way. You don't expect the hetero creatures to wait for you to take your time evacuating everyone, do you? Unwilling to accept such a dire consequence, they have no choice but to accept the reality that they cannot change the status quo. How many vehicles are left? Including the vehicles we recovered over the past few days from the destroyed conservation areas, we have 3 left. Okay, what is chat saying? The hiddens are like that. Most of the time they give you specific characters. Hiddens. They used to. Game won't have hidden nodes anymore, right? Eventually it will let you use your own construct if you own the same one. I would prefer them to give me a choice. Like the best game of all time in terms of gacha, HA3 lets you do it. Well, now at least. HA3 was like this in the past too. Obviously, they stole it from the best game of all time. First time was with number 21, right? That is when you could finally die. What? Picking a character? We are actually finishing part 1 today, huh? Don't say hope before you jump. No, most likely I also think we won't finish it today. There's only 2 nodes after this, if I remember correctly, in part 1. Well, look how long this one is. We know Valics, he doesn't like PGR songs. I mean, we'll see. You're confusing me next. What's finishing part 1 have to do with PGR songs? Nothing that was related to something in the story. Anyway, we gonna have a cool song in this chapter? He said, you think you know Valics? And I replied with that. Oh. No Valics. Oh. I pressed the voice record button by mistake. Damn, Nexus is always ready to stream despite what he always says. They do give you a choice if you want to own the character. Yeah, either own it or like, you know, either play by the selected character, like lore-wise, or let me play as Dante. What I mean? Alright, back to hell. Reading word hell, including the vehicles. Do you think they torture people in hell with reading of PGR? Until chapter 17 at least. Including the vehicles we recovered over the past few days from the destroyed conservation areas, we have 3 left. Hurry up and get your commandant into protective gear. Oh, I stopped right before the scene change. Leaving the room where Vanessa and the commandant are located to begin preparations, they are met with an unexpected scene outside. People have already packed their scarce bags of luggage. As Grey Raven exits the room, the refugees look at them coldly. Where is everyone going? We're going to the Forsaken's base. There's no way you can make it in their own food. So I'm going to borrow your rescue vehicles. Why are you leaving all of a sudden? I know you won't tell us the truth. Seeing you all sneak around like that, I took advantage of the noise outside to eavesdrop on your conversation. What did you hear? Babylonia has stopped sending aid. I heard that construct say it. He points at Lee's terminal as if stating the obvious. We were just going over possible scenarios with the others. I didn't think anyone had the nerve to eavesdrop on us. Doesn't matter. I knew it was only a matter of time. There have been numerous incidents in the neighboring conservation areas, and since Babylonia has hung us out to dry, and those damn twins are wandering around City 041 again, we don't want to stay here and wait death. Juina. The 3 vehicles are up and running, and we've got the protective gear, boss. Let's go. Please don't take the vehicles, we need them to evacuate the critically wounded. What are we supposed to do then? Not like we can make it their own food. Won't you be better off with the wounded when we're gone? You'll have more room, and it'll be quieter. Seems like they don't know about the hetero creatures, and the twins headed right for us. 3 vehicles can't hold 172 people. How are you going to deal with corrupted and hetero creatures if you get attacked? Outnumber them? The crowd falls silent for a moment before whispering amongst each other. Voice of reason, my boy Lee. That's why we need to leave before they swarm us. Scavengers like us have our own ways of operating. Leave the rest to us. Please don't! Everything we've done is to ensure as many people can survive as possible. Liv hesitates for a few seconds, but decides that it's best to inform everyone of the current situation to avert confusion. The refugees had always believed they had the right to know what was happening. A time like this requires everyone to work together to solve the problem. What would happen if they made a decision without knowing the danger? Liv can't even bear the thought of it. Please listen, I just detected a horde of hetero creatures approaching from the north. This could have been Liv told them this and that instead of them repeating the text. I mean, people don't have to go to hell to be tortured by PGR reading. Look at you. There you know what? You did it. You deserve this. You did it. I did warn you multiple times. This is a long one. I read it all in one day actually. It was a long day. I finished the pyramid spaceship today and sent it. Pretty interesting design. Pretty interesting. How much, bro? Pretty interesting design. I just detected a horde of hetero creatures approaching from the north. They'll be here in 8 hours. Hello, IA. How are you? Also, the twins already left City 041 and have made it to City 042. We need to evacuate with the wounded immediately. If you take the vehicles, we won't be able to evacuate the wounded on foot. If the hetero creatures break through our defenses, they'll enter the basement and kill the wounded. Hearing this, the whole basement becomes speechless. The middle-aged leader looks around the crowd in silence. He contemplates for a few seconds, then turns to face Liv. We'll take your word for it, considering you've taken care of us and the wounded all this time. Saying this, he pauses for several more seconds. After hearing no objection, he continues to speak. Since you're willing to be so honest, I'll make a concession to the constructs and wounded. The crowd erupts in outcry, led by the shrill voices of several refugees. Leave the wounded here, not like they'll still survive much longer if we take them anyway. I don't wanna die here. There's no way I can walk all the way there. The refugee leader remains silent among the crowd's protests until several others strong-arm their way in front of him. Boss! What's wrong? You're not wounded. You've just been hungry for a few days, and now you can't walk? No way. Besides, she said those monsters will be here in 8 hours. How can we run past those monsters? And if they don't come, what about those wandering outside? We're armed and there's a lot of us. We can handle ourselves as long as there aren't too many. He's right, Doctor. He wanted to take the vehicles because our people are too exhausted to walk. Given the emergency, we should give priority to the wounded that can't walk, but we weren't just going to drive away carelessly. If someone falls along the way, they'll slow the rest of us down. We'll be sitting ducks if we get attacked. I understand. Are you at least willing to leave any vehicles? How about this? He raises his voice over the crowd's discussion. Remember, this is a gameplay note, by the way. I like how the pin of the commented happens before the stream catch up. It always makes me laugh. Yeah, it's a delay. IA will cheat on the exam using AI. Bro, isn't AI also like 30 like me and you? I will be a little silent today, can't swap windows. Oh. $70, yo, that's one Steam game. Muse silently. He raises his voice over the crowd's discussion. We'll take the smallest vehicle to carry everyone's luggage and for people to rest when needed. The other two are rescue vehicles, so they're more suitable for transporting the wounded. 29, well, they ain't that far. That way, we can guarantee our safety to a certain extent while also not disregarding the lives of others. The crowd gradually falls silent, but concerns still remain. But those hetero creatures will be here in 8 hours. There's no way we can outrun them on foot. Even if we take all 3 vehicles, there isn't enough space for everyone. You think you'll be on one of the lucky ones who get a ride? I wanna take you for a ride. Then what should we do, boss? Calm down, we need to come up with a plan. Where were you planning on taking us and the wounded? Given the current situation, it will be best for the healthy refugees to go to City 044. There are still issues with the CPF and the punishing concentration is high, but there won't be any issues along the planned route if everyone wears protective gear. Once City 043 is safe, you can come back. Seems reasonable. It's the nearest city with a direct road and minimal corrupted wandering around there. He deliberately raises his voice as if speaking to the crowd behind him. But if everyone going wears protective gear, there won't be enough for the wounded. There's also a warehouse at City 045 with a small filtration device. I'm not sure it's strong enough to guarantee safety, but anyone with normal level protective gear should do just fine there. Correct, that's where we'll take some of the wounded. We'll take the rest of the wounded to the conservation area in City 046. They should still have enough room to take us in. City 046. Those crazy bastards are just as dangerous as corrupted. But you're right, there's not much they can do against constructs. Then it's settled. She slowly walks out of the room. It is as if she had been listening the whole time. Together, she stood behind the door, eavesdropping, and she was like, "All right, now I enter and I say, go team." Together with her is Bambinata, who now resembles an old doll. We should hurry. Wait, we're not finished here. Going there on foot is going to take a while. As close as City 044 is, we might not even be able to cross City 043's borders in 8 hours. I accept that the doctor genuinely wants us to leave the vehicles here to save the wounded, but I'm not sure about you. You're standing in as the temporary commandant here, right? I don't know what their commandant is normally like, but I have an idea based on the others in Grey Raven. But you... He forces a sneer. People like you put humans' lives on the side of the scale and your own personal interest on the other. In other words, she's a bitch. We've only been stuck here together for a month, but I know your type. If you evacuate with the wounded, who's to say you won't abandon them and guarantee your own safety? I'm just trying to save the most lives. Given our current situation, we don't have enough time and materials to save everyone. Sacrifices will have to be made. What about the wounded dead weight? The wounded dead weight. Human lives aren't equal. If you had to choose between a cracked jewel or some people in a muddy ditch, which would you choose? As expected from the one of Babylonia's officers, you bastards are just putting a price on our heads just like what they did during the Great Evacuation. Sensing a fight about to break out between both sides, Liv wants to rush forward and say something, but she's stopped by Lee before she can do anything. Smart move, Lee. Quiet down, Lawson. This great evacuation is in our hands now. This great evacuation. The 3 cars outside are ours. If you want the 2 rescue vehicles, you have to listen to us. Try and take them by violence. 1 shot from my gun here and they'll be gone. Are you sure you want that? Well then, what is it? Let our people and the wounded retreat first, and you and the other constructs stay here to stop the incoming attack. In any case, 2 cars aren't enough for everyone. They'll take the wounded and then come back for us. We won't have made it far at this point. Alright guys, listen up. Commandant Valics has crazy idea how to get them out of this situation. Hear me out. Alright, hear me out. Listen. You take Lucia, Lee, and Liv, and you put them in my hands as a gamer, and you kill all the corrupted. How about that? How about that plan, bro? None of this bullshit dialogue is necessary, bro. Just let me kill them all. I can do it. It's gonna take me 3 hours, 6 hours. I can do it. Ain't that hard. Ain't that hard. That's how I got promoted to a commandant, by the way. What the chat saying? No exams for IA? Exactly. Big boy. I mean, you tried to ask a girl out and failed, so you asked AI? Really? Talking about yourself? I haven't talked to a girl for the past 7 years. AI and me are not the same. I talk to women on a daily basis. Truly, I am surrounded by maidenless folk. Most of my colleagues are girls. Surrounded. They have wounded Nero, wounded deadweights. All 20,000 of them, including twins. Yeah. Give me 6 hours, man. I can take it. Alright, refugee leader. In any case, 2 cars aren't enough for everyone. They'll take the wounded and then come back for us. We won't have made it far. We won't have made it far at this point. You want them to come back? That's right. I'm sure the doctor and her team will be able to escort the wounded and return safely. Once everyone has retreated safely, you and that unconscious commandant of yours can leave. I can have the other constructs escort you and live together. I don't trust you. We'll just call them off whenever you get the chance. Slow as we are with all the wounded, we'll be targeted even before we make it out of City 043. As opposed to me ordering them to pick me up first when you hand over the vehicles, we'll have our eyes on you. You'll leave only when all the wounded have been evacuated first. Even if Grey Raven chooses to listen to you, I can leave with my puppet anytime I want. Do so, bitch, go die. But that'd be a death sentence going. Don't tell her! Don't tell her! Let her think she's smart. But that'd be a death sentence going out there on foot, just the 2 of you. You don't want to give up that cracked jewel of yours, do you? Fine. Bruh, Vanessa, bro. Fine, I'll take up the rear. Quit wasting time and get out of here. Vanessa? Are you sure about that? Get back here ASAP, otherwise it's going to be our funerals. One more thing. You, what's your name? He points to the construct beside her and beckons. My name's Sandra, commanded Vanessa. Blind. Sandra, go be one of their drivers. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of surprises along the way, given how many corrupted and hetero creatures are coming this way. Understood. Let's get going, Liv. Vanessa did a commandant thing. She commanded it. Dude, it took you 2 tries to defeat the twins in chapter 16. Sure, bro. I beat the bloody palace on Dante Must Die. All floors on Dante Must Die. I can do it. I'll leave the evacuation plan up to you. You are more clear on the situation with the... That's why I asked for 6 hours. You are more clear on the situation with the wounded. You got it. We'll evacuate the critically wounded and some of the less severely wounded first. It's going to be difficult to take that many people all at once given how big the stretches are. Liv opens her medical log and quickly examines the list of wounded. The log hasn't been updated recently, but the current situation is clearly printed in Liv's mind. The 8 critically wounded, Nagayuki, Kanata, and Lindsay, needs to stay behind for the time being. The first 2 need Vanessa to maintain stable minds. While Lindsay's wounds can't withstand the crowded and bumpy vehicles, so she needs to be carried away separately on a stretcher with stabilizers once all the other construct soldiers have gathered. The one the commandant used? Well, the commandant doesn't need it now. As for Mr. Kali, I don't know if he'll agree to go. The old man who wasn't eating after being diagnosed with cancer? Let me ask him. Even if he doesn't agree to go, we still need space for 4 more people. These people alone will take up 2 cars. At most, they can take the little girl with them. They can make do in the crowd vehicle if we get there fast enough. Let's make some support between stretchers so we can put them close together without being cramped. Good idea, but there's still only enough room for 4 stretchers. We can only fit a few more sitting down. I'll leave it to you then, Lee. He's the engineer. He nods and makes his way to the warehouse. As for the second vehicle, he thumbs through the records on her terminal and makes a new list. They don't need stretchers, but even then, they need to be separated due to their wounds. Even if some people lie under the seats or sit on the legs of those who aren't injured, we can't squeeze them in. Damn, they really sat down and thought it through. And then wrote it down, and I'm reading it. That's crazy. Not to mention, our vehicles haven't been modified, so they can't be overloaded, right? This shit makes it very immersive, I'm not gonna lie. Exactly. How many more people do we need to take? We still have 47 wounded. No, counting the new arrivals over the past few days, that makes 62 people, but the second car can only carry 17. With 4 people in the first car, that means we can only take 21 people in a single trip. That's fine, there's still some hope if we can make another trip. But there are still several other critically injured, and our commandant that needs to go on the next trip. Needs to go on the next trip. That means there's no time for hesitation. We'll need to make a third trip. Yeah, let's call everyone. Okay. Lucia walks to the basement. After a short time, some wounded refugees limp out following her. Leave. Since Fantine's name is on the first list, she steps out of the crowd and greets Liv with a smile. Thank you, Liv, but I want to give up my spot. What the chat say? You reminded me of something. Did you see Nilo Angelo new short combo? It's insane. I watch it casually when it pops up. I don't know which one. He makes also a lot of like funny shorts. They're funny. I wonder, where was all the DMC community when the Solstice came out? I finished Solstice, that game is amazing. And it's sad to see that it's not very talked about. And I typed Solstice on YouTube and none of the DMC players have videos on it. Did Nelo Angelo play it? I don't think he did. Solstice. No, nobody made videos on it. That's a shame. I wish Solstice would have. It's been 3 years. They could have made a sequel to it. DMC not. I'll investigate later somewhere. They care more about DMC story? No, I mean the combo makers like Chaser Tech, like even Vash. I mean Vash is not doing anything for DMC for a while now, right? I'm not like following them. There's also Triple S Smoke and Nilo. And Don Guri, some other guys. They were. I know when some other hack and slash game release, they do a combo videos on them too, but not for Solstice. The fact that DMC collab had both good gameplay and characters development for DMC is the reason. They are doing combo videos for other hack and slash games when they release. They don't stay in them long enough, but they do like occasionally some combo videos for them too. Fantine, thank you, Liv, but I want to give up my spot. She looks at the crowd and rubs her belly. It's too crowded for me, and I haven't decided if I want to bring my child into this cruel world. I need some. Bro, you can't do abortion at this point. It's too late now, Fantine. After you leave, the wounded here also need to be looked after. My medical knowledge obviously doesn't compare to yours, but I can still help. Can you take the child I brought with me instead? The wound on his back is still serious and he needs some room. Okay. Oh, and Shrek wants to speak with you. Bro, why you called him Shrek, man? Clears throat. He greets Leaf, pretending to be relaxed. Let me go with you. I'll sit on the roof so I don't take up any space. Besides, if any of the wounded sit up there, they'll most likely fall down, right? Are you sure? It's dangerous up there. Don't worry, I'll hold on tight. You said you want to evacuate to the warehouse in City 045. But is there a doctor there to take care of them? Or are you going to stay there with them? No, that's what I've been worried about. So someone should be there to look after them, right? I'm no doctor, but I've learned a thing or two about first aid recently. Recently? Got that right. A friend of mine made me realize how important it is. If you don't trust me, I can have the Forsaken send a doctor over. That way, I can continue on my way and deliver the serum. They can't possibly refuse, right? Okay, thank you. Good idea. We should also try to get support from Watanabe. If only the commandant was still conscious. We could use the commandant to pull some strings. Having finished assembling the stretchers, Lee appears behind the three of them with a frowning face. I know what you're worried about, but Babylonia cut off communication. Who knows, maybe we'll end up joining the Forsaken. He looks up at the dim sky, suddenly getting lost in a memory. I understand why they made this decision, and I don't think it was out of greed or malice, but we're on our own now. I'm used to that by now. She's used to that by now. I would react the same way as Lee does. I mean, taking in consideration how many times they took the commandant away for them, yeah, you should be used to that by now. But I guess they also did a time skip, right? Like Commandant Grey Raven with the commandant went on a lot of missions before chapter 16 happened, before the twins happened, when they became heroes and shit. Greg, you guys talk things over. Want me to go to the wounded? Feeling the gravity of their words, he waves and quickly runs back to the basement. Oh, leave. Kali said he's not going with the others. Really? I understand. Old man stays. Over 10 minutes later, thanks to everyone's efforts, the first group is already in position. People are crowded together, but not so cramped that the wounded are crushed. Everything's ready. Let's go. I'll deal with the hetero creatures along the way. Leave, take care of the wounded. Lee and Sandra, the other construct, take care of the driving. The other construct? You don't know his name? Lee nods and furrows his eyebrows, anxious. He starts the engine, causing the siren on the rescue vehicle and an alarm from the dashboard speakers to blare. Alert! Vehicle overloaded. Please drive safely and in accordance with the law. The anxiety in Lee's inner brow increases noticeably. He quickly unscrews the cover of the speaker and adeptly cuts the alarm circuit, silencing the noise. He's the engineer. Let's get going. Yo, gameplay! Game indeed. Lucia really has zero hope in them guys. Babylon, although I wouldn't say completely. Lucia, the wandering hetero creatures nearby are coming over. The vehicles are overloaded. We can't move fast enough to get rid of them. I'll try my best to clear out the enemies on the path. You go as fast as you can. For safety's considerations, we will stop the vehicles for defense if we run into enemies on the way. But the vehicles are already wrecked and most of the wounded can't move. I understand, so we have to make it quick. These are the vehicles. Very cool. Ba 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 ba. Yo, I didn't play this game in ages, bro. Dodge that. Wow, where is the enemy? She has both alpha and her memories now. They didn't expand on that yet. Didn't I already crashed out about her having Alpha's memories?
Is this all I have?
Leon? Hello, Leon. You're lucky, Leon, you joined during a gameplay section. No, I didn't. Like during chapter 13. And how Lucia should not have Alpha's memories. I even like made a little doodle board with Lucia's timeline and Alpha's timeline. It was a long time ago. Oh, leave them alone. What the hell? Oh, it's that guy. Vehicle durability. We've eliminated all the enemies ahead, but there are still some behind us. Keep moving, I'll handle them. Go. Oh, I dashed right into them. Come on, bro.
Is this all I have?
They knocked me down pretty badly. Don't quite get how to dodge them. No matrix?
Is this all I have?
Now I got the matrix. I'm dodging too early.
Is this all I have?
And boy, they fused minds when they fought in chapter 13, remember? Yeah, I just don't remember when I crashed out. Probably was before that. Over, are you guys alright here? Are you guys alright there? There's some minor injuries, I'll handle it. Okay, I'm moving toward you.
If only this were the last, Commandant.
Oh, it was so good and it's over now. City 045, West Warehouse, 3:41 AM. Also, you should realize, Rojack, after that cool moment of them merging together, a fuck ton of nothing happened with Lucia until now. It was a very long time ago. Leaving the conservation area in City 043, they crossed past several collapsed roads and buildings attacked by the corrupted and hetero creatures until finally arriving at their destination in City 045. 5.5 hours later. Watanabe's situation isn't looking good either, but at least they promised to send a doctor and even offered to take in some refugees if the situation takes a turn for the worse. Thanks for letting me use your terminal. Rek terminates the call and hands the terminal back to Lee. You said you were going to call the Forsaken to send some over, but you obviously didn't have a way of reaching them. I did just now, didn't I? He points at Lee's terminal, a matter as if stating the obvious. People need to rely on each other to survive in this world, so we can't just think about what we have. At a time like this, even more so. He gestures to Lee, who gives him a dull look. Want any more platitudes? I've got 100 of them. Just be more prepared next time before making promises. Considering how many accidents we've had recently, what would you have done if you couldn't reach them? Nonsense. I trust you guys. It's fine, Lee. Doesn't matter whose terminal he uses as long as everything works out. How are things with you, Liv? I checked everyone's vitals and rebandaged everyone's wounds that opened up from all the bumps along the way. Sorry for writing in your book, Shrek. He returns the book titled Comfort for the Soul back to Shrek, now full of medical notes. It's okay, books are used for recording information. I've gotten what I needed from it anyway. Also, Akane. I know I promised to make an identical rabbit doll for you, but it's okay, Miss Lee, I understand. I only had time to make you a small one on the way here. If I return to City-043's conservation area, I'll make another one for you, okay? Really? Thanks! Alright, let's go back and get the other wounded. You're not going to tell us how you are doing? Huh? You mean my leg? I can manage. But what's with all the vital fluid? I already rebandaged it. I'm good to go. If you can't take it anymore, let me know. I'll carry you. Okay, thank you, Lucia. Oh, when is the Forsaken Doctor going to be here? A day or so. We're not exactly close. That's the case. You'll have to care for the wounded until then. I need to go back and escort the rest of the wounded. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it from here. You should get going. I feel like I need to watch a recap of the story. I do remember having some issues with the merging of memories of Lucy and Alpha's memories. I don't remember the exact details. Still, the best chapter I read so far was that one. City 43 Conservation Area Basement, 3 AM. Nearly 5 hours have passed since Liv and the others set out. All refugees still able to move freely have been evacuated. They have walked for 5 hours, but they still have not managed to evacuate the conservation area in City 43 due to the overall speed of the crowd. The horde of hetero creatures headed this way is estimated to enter the conservation area according to their scheduled arrival in 3 hours. There are only a few dozen people left in the enclosed basement. All the constructs stationed in the conservation area are on the surface, leaving the refugees anxiously waiting for news from Grey Raven. Vanessa sits alone in the dark room, monitoring the trajectory of the hetero creatures on a large number of holo screens and sending the intel to Babylonia with no response. Following that, she recalculates the tactical deployment of constructs in the conservation area and the best evacuation route for Grey Raven based on the enemy's new trajectory. After completing her work, she stands up from the screens and walks up to the sick bed nearby. "Ha, Chief." She smiles mockingly, then sits beside the bed. "If you knew your recklessness would have this outcome, would you still have done what you did?" Vanessa gently strokes your ear as if waiting for an answer. "My ear? Don't touch me." "Let me guess, you'd say I'll sacrifice everything to protect my comrades, huh?" She gives herself a smile of self-mockery, then slowly moves her fingers down your ear and puts her hand firmly on your throat. "I'm sure you'd be disgusted right now seeing yourself like this. I'll be disgusted seeing your fucking face in the morning. So weak and fragile that you can't even push my hand away. Like a candle in the wind, all for just a couple of puppets. What do you think the instructor who praised you so highly would say now seeing you like this?" She leans down and whispers softly into your ear. Her fragrant aroma seems at odds with the musty smell of the basement. "He'd definitely take back what he said, Valics. A fool like you can't even protect yourself." Ooh, we're quoting Virgil just like that? Internet dipped. write a complaint. Vanessa quietly looks at your closed eyes. Your malnourished face from having battled illness for so long looks even more lifeless under the dim lights. Disgusting. Even if you were awake, the people who've only seen your face plastered on the screens after the Atlantis incident wouldn't even recognize you. Even though her mockery falls on deaf ears, literally, she still continues her senseless behavior. Regardless, I wasn't wrong. Before this disaster happened, I saw you as a rival that must be defeated, a futile illusion. But now, what a joke. You know, Valics, I could kill you right now. Her grip on your throat suddenly tightens, then relaxes. She smiles and covers your pallid skin with your warm palm. But what's the point? Before you went into a coma, I looked at your selfless naivety with contempt. I figured you'd quickly lose in battle and realize that your starry-eyed view of the world didn't conform to reality. This wasn't exactly quick, but maybe now you'll see the world for what it really is. Your neck remains ice cold despite her warm palm. She lifts a finger and checks your pulse. Such a simple battle nearly cost your life, Chief. What exactly distracted you? Or did I waste my time focusing on you so much? You don't deserve to be chief, let alone a role model and a goal for others. She slowly gets up, then looks at the holoscreen and a fold-up mirror next to it. The hetero creatures will be here in 3 hours. If Grey Raven isn't back by then, you're a goner. Bambinata and I can get out of here whenever we want. She combs her hair in the reflection of the mirror again, but the look in her eyes doesn't match the delicate gesture. Her gaze is wandering and vacant. I know this isn't exactly what a commandant should do. FOS college teaches us to always fight the enemy and protect as many people as we can. The lonely murmur echoes throughout the empty room. Before, no one responds. But the battlefield isn't so merciful. Not everyone can be saved, no matter who you are, Chief. As long as people die, their reputation, rights, or those ridiculous bonds are just dust in the wind. You get nothing, and the people you protect will soon forget you. Vanessa walks to the simple square table full of holoscreens, but leaves a mote of attention to you laying behind her. Turns around once more and looks at the unchanged bed. Valics, you stupid and naive piece of trash. You're only respected by so many people because they're lost in their own ideals. Now you have no one to count on. Let me tell you how to maximize the value of survivors. 4:30 a.m. I was saying you're right about Lucia earlier. What? Earlier today? Or earlier in early chapters? An hour and a half before the hetero creatures entered the conservation area, Commandant Vanessa and the 4 constructs stationed in the conservation area have all gone to the surface to prepare for combat. In the enclosed basement, Commandant Valics, 41 soldiers with minor wounds and mobility issues, and the four critically wounded patients, Nagayuki, Kanata, Lindsay, and Kali, still remain. Aside from them, there is another surprising refugee. Boy B. What are you looking at? Never seen anyone fall on stairs before? No, it's not that. The boy should have evacuated with the first group, but he sneaked into the warehouse on the 3rd floor underground and accidentally slipped on the stairs, hitting his head and spraining his ankle. He had been unconscious for over an hour, completely out of sight. Despite being woken up by matches, he had missed the opportunity to leave with the first group of refugees. Why is your dog going into the warehouse at a time like this? Matches probably just smelled someone in here. What about you? What were you doing here? I was just checking to see if that mutt had gone into the warehouse. How convenient. Even if that meant not making it out with the others on time? I was just going to take a peek. He rubs the back of his head and his sprained ankle. You don't believe me, do you? Why are you being so defensive? And because your mutt ate all of my cans. My friend gave me those before he died. He risked everything to get his hands on those, but your dumb mutt ate them. Being reminded of the past, the boy chokes back tears. I already told you, matches didn't do anything. The dog whimpers. Who cares what you say? I only believe what I saw. I wouldn't have gone in there if that stupid conservation was safe. They said we should all be in the same boat. Then they took all my cans and allowed someone like you to get in. He sniffles. I thought I could use those cans to find my big bro. The boy falls onto an empty sick bed and starts to cry. You have a big brother? Yeah, he's the best big bro in the whole entire world. The boy sobs and takes out a shabby journal from his jacket pocket. Half of the pages had fallen out, and the rest are barely clinging on with layers of tape. He'd tell me stories every day and draw me whatever I wanted. He gently rubs the few remaining pages, which are covered with an assortment of vivid drawings. Roasted chicken, new clothes, an entire house, a bed, a soccer ball, a garden, and even a kind-looking woman. Below the pictures there's the same phrase repeated over and over. Can you read? A bit. How about you? That's nice. My mom taught us a bit before she died, but bro and I forgot. He tries to stop crying and sniffling, and points to the writing beside the kind woman. Bro said we can write our wishes in it and mommy will make our wishes come true up in heaven. Look, mom told us to just write this beside each picture and mom will hear our wishes. Stanley looks to where the boy is pointing but discovers that it isn't some magical spell. Sorry. But what? Sorry I brought you into this world. What'd you say? Stanley opens his mouth to explain the meaning of the dense handwriting, but lowers his head silently as if noticing something. Nothing, I just zoned out here for a second is all. I never shown this to anyone, and you just get distracted. Sorry. Anyway, why are you showing me this? Because you saved me? He awkwardly covers his face with a blanket and curls up. Forget it. What's the point of telling someone without any family? Anyway, your dog only found me because he was trying to steal food. Matches didn't. Shut up. I know already. I've been watching you for the past few days. I know it now. Perhaps he was beginning to sense the truth. At least that's how Stanley interprets his response. He knows he wrongly accused Stanley, but can't admit his mistake and doesn't apologize. Go to sleep. Anxiously rolling over in bed, he winces in pain from the injuries on his head and ankle. Alright. Stanley stops speaking. He looks up into the basement and imagines what was happening outside the window. But right as he wants to lie down on the empty bed and get some rest, he hears a heart-rending cry from the other side of the basement. No, don't go, Lindsay, no! What the chat saying? Leon Martin. Leon... that was his name? He's still here? Even before my internet decides to stop earlier? I was right? I was so right, man. Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively many chapters later. Yeah, but you know, I'm not reading this every day. I was away for a bit. Did he reach the last node? That's so funny, Nexus. Check the pinned comment, bro. In this sad cry, another person wandering in the twilight falls into the cold embrace of eternal night. How much longer until daybreak? Another reading. Kind. Only one fighting soul. Life and death. Alright. Depends on how long this one will be. It could be the last one for today. Already 1 hour and 20 minutes, man. 5:38 a.m. So what? The corrupted arrives in like 20 minutes. Driving the 2 rescue vehicles, Grey Raven races back to the conservation area before the barrage of hetero creatures arrives. Familiar with the way back and no longer carrying any wounded, they managed to make the trip in just 3 hours. We're back! Returning to the enclosed basement, Grey Raven and Sandra arrive to look at the panic among the refugees. Intermittent sobbing can be heard throughout the basement. The looming sadness is like smoke from a fire, making everyone's eyes and nose sting. Liv quickly walks into the room to the compartment to see a lifeless body lying in the blood-stained sick bed. Jean is lying by her side, weeping. Shit. Leave. She lightly shakes her head and quietly looks over at what was now apparently Lindsay had passed away. Jean. Jean struggles to lift her head and looks at Liv lifelessly. The hetero creatures are almost here. We need to leave. She shakes her head and tightly grips Lindsay's ice-cold wrist. I still don't know why Lindsay saved me. Seeing her in agony like this, there was even a moment that I hated you. If we could have all left at the same time, would we have been spared from the pain, the agony, or having to say goodbye like this? Someone once asked Liv, is it really meaningful to treat a patient who is bound to die? Before death's peaceful embrace, prolonging the patient's life is actually just prolonging their pain. But she saw the struggle under Lindsay's eyes, her desire for life, and the words she could not say. So Liv chose this cruelty. Did she regain consciousness at all? Yeah, just before she died, but she only said a few words. Well, what did she say? I'm happy you're okay. My life didn't go to waste. Don't come looking for me just yet. I asked her why she saved me. She said, because I'm a scaredy cat. What's that got to do with it? What does that mean? Lindsay. Her tears fall in a continuous stream like raindrops on the floor. Scaredy cat. If there is anything in the world that can arouse humanity's strongest fear, it's death. Yet she calls herself a scaredy cat and is willing to face death alone to protect another person. I didn't know Lindsay too well, but I think people who are willing to give up their lives to save another person must value the lives of others more than theirs. She must be deeply afraid of your death. She struggled to her last breath just to tell you that. Really? But I feel the same way about you, Lindsay. As if soaked by the downpour of sorrow, Jean sobs in front of Liv's chest. So, you need to keep living. That's what Lindsay wanted. Okay. She nods quietly as she cries. We're running out of time, Liv. We need to get everyone out of here. Jean, let's get going. Still unable to stop her sobbing, she gets up from Lindsay's bed and takes a step toward Liv. Yeah, let's go. Why should you persuade someone who wants to die? Do you think those 2 vehicles can accommodate everyone here? What a fucking bitch, man. Right as everyone calms down a moment, the bitch pulls everyone back to reality. Also, we have a boy and a dog unaccounted for. I just barely missed the first group and I sprained my ankle. The boy looks around at the crowd and matches beside Stanley. Can I still go? That depends if they have time to come back a third time. But didn't they already plan to come back a third time? The hetero creatures will be here by then, one day. Right, I'm detecting a massive incoming horde. There's no way we can take them ourselves while also protecting the refugees. So, looks like this is the last trip. Silence fills the basement, everyone's nerves hanging anticipation to be read their sentencing. Get your commandant on board first. and then squeeze the rest in however you like. For those who can't get in, they stay here. And for those who need to be carried out of here, the crowd rushes to the basement exit without waiting for her to finish speaking, nearly pushing Vanessa to the ground. Alright, get your commandant on board. Oh. What the chat saying? He will rage quit again, I swear. Hell yeah, I will. Nexus said it right there, Nexus. Yeah, I pinned it, Nexus. My favorite part of chapter 17 is when Valics ordered Lucia to Nexus them and she Nexuses all over the place. I only do Alpha and Vera, Lucia can go back to the Void. Wow, cool. It does get me 5 million scores on Fire. Warzone though. I'm really curious if they will ever merge back to 1 in the future. That is probably the end of the game. End of part 1? Why would they need to merge? Well, I guess I'm mid... Am I in the middle of the story, chapter 17? 34? How many? I guess I'm close to the middle. At least numerically. Not like content-wise. Who said it was anything about doing... I did. Yes, but you did wrong. I'm the only doer here. Someone needs to shoot you guys. As the three of them carry the commandant to the surface, the scene erupts into chaos. Quit pushing and shoving! The roars of hetero creatures gradually become audible, causing everyone to panic. Liv rushes into the chaotic crowd to protect the vehicles from being overturned by the crowd. Fight against Ascendant or to find a solution, you will understand later what I mean. Form a line. Liv's injury makes it difficult to stand up straight in the crowd. Some people reluctantly form a line as she tries to block the vehicle, but most of the injured refugees rush the door, causing the whole rescue vehicle to shake. I'm gonna push my way on it if I have to, there's not enough space. Why are you pushing? You're barely even hurt. Think you can steal my spot? Of course I do. Hear that sound? It's like an earthquake. They're gonna be here any minute. That's the sound of everyone's feet. Who the hell do you think you are? Quit stepping on my shoulders. Doesn't matter. I'm getting on. Amidst the chaos and crowding, people no longer care about each other's wounds. They regard themselves as luggage and cram the vehicles full. Even then, some people make no attempt to board the vehicle. These guys. Give me a spot! Cram, you're not even hurt. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. There's a dog in here. Why don't we kick the dog out so someone else can fit? Wonderful. That's quite the clown car you got going. That was a good line. Vanessa stands at the basement entrance and applauds the crowd in her usual mocking attitude. So how fast can the overloaded vehicle drive? Think you can outrun the hetero creatures? No one responds to her question. Everyone just holds their breath in anticipation. You don't leave space for several of the critically injured or even the commandant. Think Grey Raven will serve you anyway? Leave the commandant with me. I don't need my hands to fight. Leave the commandant with me. You're better off taking care of the wounded. And it's settled. For those who aren't on board, sorry. Looks like you have to stay here. See you in another life. No, don't leave me. I want to find my big bro. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so reckless. I beg you, take me with you, anywhere. He kneels down behind the rescue vehicle in despair and looks up to plead to those who board the vehicle and climb the windows and roof so they ignore his cries. That's all I want. I don't want to die. Don't be afraid. Put on some protective gear and hide. We'll come back to pick you up. No, don't leave me. Please, I beg you. He kneels at Liv's feet and begs her. You'll really come back, Miss Liv? I promise. Alright. He can take my spot. Stanley and Matches squeeze their way out of the tightly packed vehicle. I'll wait for you here. Get going. Why the... Whatever. I guess there was too much stuff going on. Stanley, thank you. Sorry I blamed you all this time. He hugs Stanley as a constant stream of tears and snot rolls down his cheeks. It's nothing. So it's decided? Leave the rest here? Jean. It's okay. I'll keep Lindsay company. Lindsay is fucking dead, man. No, it's not okay. An old voice and its owner squeeze out of the vehicle. Go, kiddo. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Don't let Lindsay's sacrifice be in vain. But, with these old bones of mine... Besides, I can't bring myself to leave my husband. I'll keep him company. But... If you feel sorry for me, then I want you to do something for me. He takes out a tightly closed bag containing the rice left over by Kali. One day, when you find a safe place to live, plant this rice. And no matter what you eat, leave some seeds for future generations and pass on our tradition. Okay. Good girl. Then all of this is worth it. He hands the bag to Jean and pats her on the shoulder. Get going, kiddo. Jean nods, carefully taking the bag, then boards the vehicle. Let's get going. I'll carry Nagayuki. Captain, you take Kanata. Okay. The old lady smiles and waves to everyone. The boy hurriedly takes out his notebook before leaving, tears out the last blank page and hands it to Stanley with his pen. This is a thank you gift. It can make your wishes come true. Thank you. Now get going. The three people staying here watch Lucia and Vanessa get into the driver's cabin. The overloaded vehicle groans and drives away at a less than optimistic speed. The moment the vehicle drives out of the conservation area, Liv looks back at the others and where Lindsay lies as a cold thought enters her mind. Do we still have time? There any other way? No, there isn't. If only we could carry even more people, but we have no other choice. Liv painfully forces herself to look back on the road. Despite the severe pain from her leg wound, she runs in step with the vehicle. If we can hurry, there's still time. "6 a.m. But I should restart reading PGR story. Now there are no more big problems on the horizon. Injured Refugee 27 is my favorite character. I know, right? At least they have numbers, so I know different people talk. That girl is No One's Arc is crazy good. In No One's Arc is crazy good. What's her name? Her name Jen? Jin Kazama? Why is she a girl? Isn't that a boy name? Nexus, you definitely didn't read Nexus up there like you should be Nexusing. I'll have a better one, but I'll save it for later. Will Valics do music today or he goes straight to reading the docs? We're not doing music today. I started late. I'm thinking of doing music only like Friday and weekends. 5:58 a.m. The two overloaded rescue vehicles drive away at full speed for 6 minutes. But looking back, they can still see the full outline of the conservation area. Vanessa looks at the speedometer, which only shows 37 kilometers per hour. In order to correct this meaningless escape, she stops the vehicle and hops out of the driver's seat. We can't outrun the hetero creatures at this speed. She looks at the crowd squeezed into the back of the vehicle. The crowd looks at her outside. As a human, she should be in the same position at the moment, but their eyes are filled with fear. We need to cut it down to 15 people per vehicle so we can leave in time. 15? What? But there are only just over 40 of us. You want more of us to die? If we don't, all of us will die here. A deafening protest breaks out in the crowded vehicle. In Vanessa's eyes, it's a twisted box with countless redundant mouths growing on it. I don't agree with this. Oh, what are you gonna do? Lucia doesn't immediately answer. She looks at her companions, asking Liv and Lee for their consent with her eyes. We'll stay here and stop the hetero creatures, then lure them away to give everyone time to retreat. Color me surprised. I expect nothing else from a puppet of Valics. Do you know what this will lead to? Your naivety will get the commandant killed. I don't deny the risk, but I prefer to believe in the strength of Grey Raven. Strength? 3 exhausted constructs, one of which is injured? Grey Raven really has inherited the commandant's naivety and arrogance. We've already left a lot of people behind. We know the risks, but we won't back down. Is that what the chief wants? That fool in your arms only saved you because someone was a little too big for their britches. Don't insult the commandant. If it wasn't for this fool, we wouldn't be here and you wouldn't have been saved. Oh, so you should give up the commandant's life to save these worthless refugees? Nothing with life is worthless. We'll stick together and overcome any obstacle. We'll never flee the battlefield because of hardship or fear. Won't flee. Hearing this, she thinks of Diesel. Vanessa has no interest in knowing whether he was seriously injured and couldn't return, or if he is on the same road as the other deserters. As those deserters. Has no interest in knowing whether he was seriously injured and couldn't return, or if he is on the same road as those deserters. For a long time, Egret had attracted people who were afraid of death because of its low casualty rate and tactics designed to maximize benefits. In the face of such an unwinnable battle, serious injury or defection would be highly likely. This wasn't the first time she had seen such puppets, but every puppet that tries to escape and disobey its master's orders has been well trained by Vanessa. Shouldn't a puppet be punished for disobeying its master? She has always believed in this truth, but still could not stop her puppets from defecting. She doesn't feel that she is wrong, but rather they were selfish and afraid of death. In her opinion, since Valics is unconscious, Grey Raven will find a chance to escape in order to survive. But Grey Raven hasn't. They saved her and the refugees, and they're willing to give up their lives to stick to the commandant's faith. Harley, Joe, Simon, Yata, Eleanor, and the others are so reckless. They won't return to Babylonia until they ensure that the mission is completed and they've saved everyone they could. Why? Before graduating from FOS college, a seemingly unpopular instructor had said to her, "Every life has its own unique value. No matter how small, they are all part of this world. If you want to be the best commandant, you must remember this truth. If you despise life and detest worthless things, you will lose everything one day. If you despise life and detest worthless things, you will lose everything one day." Hearing this, she thought the instructor was just an idealist trying to use scare tactics to promote friendly cooperation. When tactics failed and she was in trouble, she never thought about this idea. But now, the fool she deemed unworthy is lying quietly in the arms of the construct. Even without saying a word, the construct still quietly abides by the commandant's ideology. Only then does she think about what that instructor had said. Is this what makes us different? He reaches out as if to grasp some non-existent phantom, but then smiles. Get going. Egret will take care of luring the hetero creatures. What? That was easy, but you... You heard me. It's only Bambinata and me, but I'm prepared to fight. She shakes her tactical bag containing her last trump card. Bambinata has long been acquainted with Vanessa's ideology. Countless puppets have disappeared or were sacrificed in exchange for victory. But this time is different. Vanessa wants to prove that she can achieve victory while making this puppet a companion to stay with. Has she changed her mind quickly? Instead of giving Bambinata the contents of her tactical bag, she puts herself on the chessboard. But you won't survive against that many hetero creatures, no matter what you've got in the bag. That bag. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't misjudge my own strength, unlike that naive commandant. Take Valics and go with these people. Don't wait for me to clear up these troubles. You haven't reached your destination yet. But have any other bright ideas? Even if you stay here, you will only get caught in the crossfire. What about you? I have my ways. Don't worry, I won't die here, so tell that to the chief for me. Remember that I saved your lives today. You better thank me when I get back. I wouldn't, Vanessa. Let's get going. She's already made up her mind. Thank you. There you go, she thanked you now. She waves lazily to everyone with your usual smile and watches the two vehicles drive away in silence. God, I hope she dies here. When the vehicles slowly disappear out of sight, they hear the sound of hetero creatures gradually approaching. First, we should draw their attention. Yes, mistress. Carrying Vanessa in her arms, Bambinata uses the short-range drone to leap into the air. By the light of the daybreak, they see that the sloped path in the city has turned into a scarlet wave. What do chat say? Oh, that's it? Freedom? Life and death. Guess this is the last one. Okay, cool. Wait a minute. I just registered it. Nothing is good about no one's arc. It talks. No one got his own damn arc, and it's not good. Almost as big as this chapter. It's a 3-hour chapter that should have been 30 minutes max. You can say that about any chapter after chapter 8. It's not bad though. I hate EO02 so much, but I hate EO04 even more. I like no one's story. Hell, it's one of the chapters I remember the most. Yes, her name was Rachel, so it wasn't Jin. What I hate about it is that backstory. It has no reasons to be so long at all. Longer than this. Thing is, if PGR would be fully animated, it would be one of the best stories out there. You're capping so hard right now, Nexus. Big problem are the parts where the story describes stuff. You're capping right now, bro. Like, it can't be one of the best stories out there because it copies so much from other media. It's painful. Nier Automata, cough cough. As of ER04, the second node in that is longer than this node. Valics is reading for zero reason. No, you mean I can skip ER04? Will he finish in 4 minutes? What? No capping, you just can't see it. I think it by default can be one of the best story out there just because of how much it borrows from other stuff. Imagine it will release like a first season, all the reviews would just say like, why would you watch this if there is Nier Automata? It does have its own identity even though they copied from other parts. Let's see, they have the virus, the red eyes, funny robots. Now they have the twins. Like the only good part, you could say pretty unique, is Alpha and Lucia. But like, I can see how this idea grew out from Nier Automata. Not saying I hate it, although nothing fucking happens character-wise. Like, characters do very little so far, and I imagine everything I read until now is more than one season of anime, like more than 12 episodes already. You can skip ER04 when we get to it. I'll summarize it for you. It will be better experience listening to me explaining it? Really? Well, you have to get into the voice then. And prepare a slideshow animation for me as well. Alright, let's get into it. You will see stuff in the future. Well, there's the problem right there. Everybody keeps telling me it will get better. 6:13 AM. Shortly after the main troops has evacuated, the ground quakes and reverberates. Due to some sort of explosion. After the deafening noises fade away, the world goes quiet for another half a minute before the footsteps of a horde of hetero creatures come from somewhere nearby. Like, I must stop, Nexus. If the one thing an adaptation would save this project, make it anime, movie, or live action, whatever, if it will have like top-notch battle choreography. You can shut people's eyes if you will just do very cool fights and be like, hey, go watch PGR because it has cool fights. The biblical elements and other stuff. Dynamics patch that spoils 3 future chapters. You're copying so hard, bro. They do not seem to notice the people hiding in the basement. Instead, they go straight across the conservation area and head for where the explosion took place. The footsteps continue for more than half an hour, then a few more loud bangs come from the distance. Like I would assume, people start playing PGR not because of its story. Definitely not because of its story. Trapped in the basement, the elders and the boy have no way of knowing what is going on out there. But they notice the central purification filter has started glowing red after the footsteps of those hetero creatures disappeared. When the twins are here, I guess. No one can tell what the red indicators meant. They only know something has stopped working. Then the malfunctioning central purification filter starts sending in thick mists of the punishing virus instead of breathable air. It is no longer safe to hide underground. This is a Resident Evil movie reference. Joking. Don't get butthurt, I'm just joking. The old woman helps Kali return to the surface, but then returns to where they were half an hour later. All I saw out there was the red tide. They are like mud scattered everywhere on the surface. Some were even buried in pits. She points at her leg. The part of her body below the ankles, covered in red tide, has started to fester. The pits are even deeper further out. We're trapped here. Distressed, she sighs and sits on a stretcher. She cannot move her attention away from Kali. Old man, try to rest. Ouch. I know, I'm hurting too. I stepped into the red tide just to find you a path forward. My legs are festering now. I'm afraid my time is coming soon. Rest now. When you wake up, the pain will have gone away. Trembling, Kali nods and lies on the empty stretcher. 11 AM. It has been 5 hours after the main troop evacuated. Judging by how fast they traveled last time, they have to be well on their way back. At the thought of this, Stanley smiles. He raises his hand to rub Match's head in and attempt to keep hunger at bay by feeling its soft touch. The old woman sitting not very far away lifts up her pants and reveals a pair of legs that have been completely corroded by the punishing virus. Before Liv leaves, she leaves behind 2 serums and a can from their scarce resources. The 3 struggle to decide how to distribute these supplies and eventually give the can to Stanley and let the old couple have the serums. But the Stanley doesn't open the can immediately. He plans to save this precious supply until the very last. Now that the supplies have been distributed, the boy leaves the 2 elders and goes into the room next door for some sleep. As Kali falls asleep, the old woman still has her eyes wide open, seeming to be reminiscing something. 4 PM. It has been 10 hours after the main troop evacuated. Even dressed in the protective suit, Stanley can still feel the open wounds on her legs festering very quickly. Stanley can still feel the open wounds on her leg. I thought Stanley is a boy. What? Can still feel the open wounds on her leg. Didn't the... Stanley is the... What? The old woman had leg problems. He doesn't know where to find a device to assess the concentration of the punishing virus, but judging by the purulence coming out of his wound... Okay, so it's a typo. Wow. Wow, he doesn't know where to find a device to assess the concentration of the punishing virus, but judging by the purulence coming out of his wound, he can roughly come up with an estimate. How much longer will they take? Or is he looking at the leg of the old lady? He doesn't know where to... Stanley can still feel, even dressed in the protective suit, Stanley can still feel the open wounds on her legs festering very quickly. Maybe he's observing the legs of the old woman. Judging by their speed last time, they should have returned here by now, but so far they have heard nothing. Perhaps they are traveling slower this time because there are more people. Stanley tries to calm himself. The people in City 044. Before they left on foot, Stanley heard Liv mention the CPF of City 044 also malfunctioned. But he believes Liv and Grey Raven will repair the central purification filter, and he also believes what she said, that by planning a safety route, they can stay away from the Red Tide. But he is not sure whether he can find such a safety route himself. Is the punishing virus in City 044 as dense as it is here? He keeps thinking about these two questions, but so far he can only find a negative answer to the both. Good. My bad, be right back. Back. What did chat say? UFO table is the only one that can animate PGR fights in 2D specifically. And Hoyo in 3D. I will be fair there. I'd say Hoyo's story is comprehensive enough. Story is not everything to me in PGR, there's better gacha stories. Exactly, I agree. It's everything else they do as well. It's almost the perfect gacha game experience, almost. My favorite stories are a tie between FGO, Nikki and Limbus. FGO! Then PGR afterwards. Part 1 of this chapter is like the first 8 chapters for the whole story, world building. Next 2 parts, it starts to happen. Guys, it's gonna get better, guys. He keeps thinking about these 2 questions, but so far he can only find the negative answers to them both. Her legs ache as time goes by. He has to rip and pull at the sheet and pillow to distract himself from the pain. Bro, you don't understand. The dog whimpers, that I understand. Worried, Matches keeps licking Stanley's hand, keeps a firm grip on the pillow. This would have brought Stanley peace of mind, but the same trick does not work so well this time. So does he also have a wound? Nevertheless, he tries his best to raise his trembling hand and take Matches into his arms. I'm glad you are okay. How I wish humans were just like animals. You carry the punishing virus, but you are not affected by it. It's okay, I'm sure I'll get better. Liv said so herself, she will return. He barks. Tears stream down Stanley's face and drop on Match's head, but the tears stop rolling down from there. Instead, the dog's fur soaks the tears dry. It is as if the dog stops the pain. I will get better. He struggles to put a smile on his face and takes out the pen and paper the other boy gave him. If I could realize my wishes, I want to leave this place and find freedom. Knowing it will end up in vain, he dares to dream all the same. The corner of this paper that makes wishes come true, he draws a pair of simple wings. Take me to the sky, across and beyond the red tide. Like a drowning person holding onto his life-saving straw, he thickens the lines of that pair of wings. Together with my matches, away from this place, to somewhere we belong. However, tormented by hunger, agony, and the punishing virus, he struggles to see the wings clearly no matter how hard that he thickens those lines. In a trance, Stanley notices a series of crimson pearls drop on the pair of wings and blossom like a flower of the air. It's blood. 9 p.m. After nightfall, the surface, now painted in red, is as dark and silent as the basement. After 15 hours of waiting, there is still no news bringing hope from outside the gate of this conservation area. Kalia wakes several hours later in a daze. He approaches his partner and taps on her shoulder, but realizes she is as cold as ice. Lena. Oh, the old woman's name is Lena. He struggles to pronounce her name. Oh, but this ice-cold body will no longer respond to his call. Time is always one step ahead. He couldn't even say goodbye before she went gently into that good night. In the dim light, the old man here sees her wrinkled skin and the festering wounds, as if he is combing back through his memories and trying to recall the Lena he remembers. They spent a long time together. Illness and aging took away many of his memories, but the remaining ones are all whispering the same name. Lena. Lena. With tears in his eyes, he looks at the woman named Lena and holds her cold hands with his rough one before leaning against her. Wait for me, we'll go back home together. Anger, cancer, infection, aging. These as his tickets to heaven, he will surely follow in her wife's footsteps very soon. 6 a.m. A day passed. The cozy breeze travels across this land ravaged by disaster as the light of dawn shines. But this beautiful view does not bode well for the boy who suffers from his festering wounds. The only thing keeping the pain at bay for him is the night when he is asleep. It has been 24 hours since the main troop evacuated. The hopeless people waiting in this basement still receive no news from the outside world. What could have happened to them? Or have they decided to abandon us? For the next few hours, he tries to fall asleep again many times, but time and time again he is awakened by the pain or hunger. He struggles to get out of bed, but realizes he is too weak to do so. Many people left with them. It would be bad if anything happened to them. But I think I'm okay with that. After all, I never enjoy living. Do you even realize what you just said? Trance, he recalls what Liv once asked him, but the memory is soaked in a sea of nothingness and hard to recollect. He only remembers that, before his everlasting, desperate night arrived, he thought he was not afraid of illness or death because of the pain he had suffered. What did I say? Struggling to recollect the fragmented pieces of his memories, the boy curbs his body, fighting hard to resist the insurmountable pain. The festering wounds torment both his body and his soul. If life is so painful, he might as well embrace death. But what if he could break free from the suffering and live somewhere peacefully without pain? No, that's impossible. He tries to convince himself, but deep down he still wants to give it a try. Matches barks. When all hope is lost, Stanley hears a sound coming from the gate of his basement. It seems someone is approaching. They're back! What the chat say? He has wounds, Stanley has wounds? I figured. Leaf treated him when he arrived, also punishing viruses filling the place. So many tickets to heaven, huh? I'll give them this, that's quite a line. That was quite a line. Is the note, this kid so important in Liv's choice? Liv's choice? Wow, Liv's gonna do shit? After hours of waiting, this glimpse of hope is like the injection of adrenaline, giving him enough power to fight off the physical pain and fatigue and struggle to stand up. Excited and happy, he staggers to find the old couple sleeping next door. Kali, they're back! Kali? Dog whimpers. Stanley notices the old couple not moving. Confused, he takes 2 steps forward and tries to tap on his shoulder, but realizes his face is pale white. Tries to resuscitate them, just like how an adult would do, but realizes their bodies have long grown cold and stiff. He slightly lifts up their clothes and sees their skin have turned into the festered red tide, just like the wounds on his body. Matches, even they are. It's okay, even if we are the only ones left, we will make it out of this place. His clothes are stuck to his sticky coagulated purloins and blood. The slightest pull at the clothes brings him indescribable pain. I hate that feeling. But to find hope that lies beyond the sealed gate, he holds his cane firmly and heads for the outside world. With a deep, loud noise, the sealed gate opens. The morning breeze carries a stench that floods the basement, heralding how he will find no salvation in the outside world. What was the sound that he heard, and where did it come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Joe? Was it the wind and ruins making the noises, or was his mind playing tricks on him? Where are you? Mustering all his strength, he cries. The shout echoes through the wasteland of this conservation area. Eventually, only wind answers his call. It must still be near, right? The others are not back yet, but it just might be a scavenger who accidentally trespassed this area. Boy does not want to give up hope. He takes a step forward and leaves the people sleeping forever in that basement as he starts climbing and searching. 10 AM. He leaves the basement and searches the entire conservation area, but even now that he has reached the top of this building, there is not a single soul in sight. It has been 28 hours since the main troop left. No one is coming back. Everyone is dead. Having lost all hope, he lies prone on the top of this building and looks down at its central courtyard below. He wants to cry, but there are no tears left to be shed. Take me away from this place, please. To search in this building that isn't very spacious, he has spent 4 hours moving around. With every step he takes, the wounds pain him. He has run out of stamina. There is no way he can return the way he came. For more than a month, he and Matches have never had a proper meal. It is not just him. Even Matches has run out of strength and dies flat on the floor. To most scavengers, 28 hours is nothing but time that passes in the twinkling of an eye. It was like that to Stanley once. But having been tormented by a month of hunger and illness, 24 hours of suffering and 4 hours of seeking are enough to nearly kill him. The boy is on the verge of death. Silent, he looks at the can in his hand. His hope. Will things start getting better if Matches and I eat this now? The answer to that is no. A half-full can will not bring back strength or heal wounds. The fact will not change. He is trapped on the top of a building in the conservation area, and there is no way he can walk all the way back. For long, he will be affected by the punishing virus. His body will fester and he will meet his end here. To him, eating is pointless now. He might as well save it for another creature that needs it more. The boy has made up his mind. He opens the can and places it in front of Matches. Come, you can have it. Watching as Matches chows down the food, he finds a smile on his face. Why am I smiling? He thinks to himself. Is it because the situation has improved? Of course not. This boy is smiling because he sees Matches happy. That alone brings peace to his mind. Sorry, I couldn't find any supplies to feed you sooner. He looks up to the sky through that pair of wings he drew on the paper. Some memories previously blurred to him are becoming clearer. I need Matches by my side. He's the only thing keeping me going. If I ever run out of supplies, I'll abandon myself, not Matches. I remember now. I remember what I told Leave. Putting the paper back into his pocket, he grasps the delusional fantasy. Matches, I'm happy I still have a can left for you. So, has no regrets. In his mind, the boy, nearing his death, grows a pair of wings on his back. I'm leaving this place to soar in the sky. Matches barks. Sorry, I cannot take you with me. Will you hate me for that? Yes, he whimpers. If you don't answer me, I'll take that as a no. Forgive me. I'm sorry. He struggles to stand up and slowly moves closer to the edge of the building. Do you think they're ever coming back? Dog whimpers. I hope they do, but at the same time, I fear they might run into the red tide that surrounds this conservation area. With his every moment, those festering wounds being pulled and torn bring insufferable pain, but he doesn't stop. Matches barks. If they do return and realize there is no one left here, will they be sad? Guess I won't live long enough to find out. He shakes his head to shake off the meaningless thoughts, but still he decides to leave a message on the back of that paper. I don't know if I'm writing it right, only I had more time to learn. With this little regret, he puts this paper scribbled with a barely intelligible message into the cleanest pocket of his shirt. I'm leaving now, Matches. Whimpers. Stay strong and live, even if you have to eat my body to survive. Do it. This is all I can do for you. Barks. He spreads the wings in his mind and, like a bird longing for freedom, he embraces the sky and looks up to chase the sunlight. I'm sorry, see you in the next life. The boy jumps off the building. Fade to black. What the chat says. Spoilers, not really spoilers. Foreshadowing. The wings part is a reference to a book, by the way, called, well, The Wing. A reference to the song by Hollywood Undead Bullet. Joking. But as expected, a pair of spiritual wings cannot take flight. Where is he? Is him? That's the dog. The boy quickly falls to the ground and hits a pile of empty boxes. If it wasn't a scripted story, his pain would have stopped right then and there, but reality doesn't have such a mercy on him. The pieces of scraps in those boxes have delayed his death. Grim Reaper didn't come to collect his souls and take away his pain as quickly as he thought. That's cruel. As a writer, this is cruel. He tries to move his body, but he is no longer in control. Now all he can do is wait and see how things unfold. The first thing he notices is the sound of a flowing liquid. Unlike the sound of raindrops falling onto the ground or water streaming out of a tube, this is more likely when you break a bottle and the milk inside starts leaking out. Though there isn't much difference, he can still tell the liquid is thicker than water. It is most likely his blood. Later on, numbness and pain start seeping through his limbs and eating away his consciousness. When the feeling of pain fills his limbs, Stanley finally realizes he no longer has enough strength to shout. Death has never been just a number or name on a list of victims. It is a body that carries the weight of both the past and future, experiencing unimaginable pain as the mind gets ground to dust. Koala. Korean book, welcome to hell. The agony of fractured limbs becomes almost eternal. Each drop of blood takes years to fall onto the ground. It hurts. Get on the table, bro. His voice is muffled by the blood as it turns into bubbling noises. His heart is ravaged by pain. Had he known this would be so tormenting, would he still choose to take his own life this way? Death has never been easy. It is not a simpler way out. Do I regret this? Before this day, he had witnessed many people's death. Many refugees would tell themselves the worst that can happen is death. He remembers when he passed by the conservation area, a conservation worker wearing glasses mentioned a term, sustained suicide fantasy. Wow. He said the thought might look pessimistic and negative, but it could help people find a way out, and in that process also find a little bit of courage to carry on. Except that it isn't really a way out. Once you step into it, things become a downward spiral. The boy is being tormented by extreme pain that continues to attack his mind and soul. His throat cannot shout, so instead his heart bleeds and wails and screams for him. As it happens, a question to himself becomes clearer. Will death really free me? No. An old man once told him that freedom was the ability to run free even when you were burdened with shackles. A man gives up life to chase freedom, he is but a slave of his desire, forced to give up on himself. Every inch of his body is in pain and protesting his foolish decision. The agony is pulling at his mind, begging him to stand up and save himself. So, did all this happen because he made a wrong choice? No. He struggles and utters the same answer he had given to so many questions. From the very beginning, he thought about the possibility the main troop might not return. But even so, Stanley doesn't regret giving another person a chance to evacuate. My regret is that he was born, he has suffered much pain and failed many people. All of it makes an idea very clearly. If he had a choice, he didn't wish to be born into this world. This regret planted a seed in his mind that has been growing ever since, which is why he has always put others before himself. But no matter how much he regrets this life, he cannot deny his existence. So, this child, who resents and despises life so much, knowing death isn't a way out and that there is a heavy price to pay, has no choice but to face his tragic ending all the same. People who have not experienced love will spend their lives looking for substitutes. This child, abandoned time and time again, has always wanted to prove somehow that he doesn't always have to be left behind. Now that he has felt the pain and loneliness of pain, he finally understands the value of life, and he is more certain than ever that he has no regrets. This is all I ever wish for. Suffering the pain that is tearing him apart, the boy finds his answer and starts praying. And when all the blood has escaped, the body becomes frozen in time. Though it was only a brief moment, Stanley felt it strongly. His soul went through the ground and learned how to fly. Oh, it wasn't the last one. Well, it was the last one for today. Well, at least this time it didn't feel edgy just for the sake of being edgy. Now it was edgy with a purpose, so it's way better than it used to be in previous chapters. What are the boys saying? Will Valics shed a tear? No, I didn't. Maybe I would if this was voice acted. I didn't when I read this and I saw death. Good writing though. Definitely an improvement. Still felt like 60% of all the words could have been cut out. Still felt too long. That's gonna be all for today. We did not finish part 1. I'll go make me some or something. So how's the chapter so far compared to the other, besides being long part? Well, Already said I said what I think so far. Character development thing coming. Yeah, bro. Coming for like half a year already. And it never reaches. This I still have one node. We still have like 2 parts before I can say like my thoughts on this chapter. Only one left next time on part 2, and then part 3, and then... What's then? And then ER00. And then Recitativo di Fantasia, but I don't think I can start it from the beginning. Not show this during session. Can I start from the beginning? Reading the chapters below first will help you better understand this chapter's story. Oh, only if you told me this like before I clicked on it. And tap a character to jump to it or continue opening the current one. Oh, related character? They mean like the Dawn? Affection story. Oh. Yep. Oh my god, they want me to do affection story? Yeah, don't. Yeah, she's at 100. Yeah, only affection story is not done. 17. Oh, they want me to do Pyroat as well? What the fuck? Why? It's chapter 31, bro. What they are capping. Interesting. Related character. And leave. An amazing reading. What are you doing? I'm checking. I'm checking the fucking storyboard. Chapter 17 and then year 00 and then Recitativo di Fantasia. And I don't think I can restart Recitativo di Fantasia from the beginning. So I was yeah, I'm sorry about that. Fiction story is the good part. What were you looking for? The chill, no death part? Wait. Thank you for coming by. I'm gonna go make me a tea, man. My throat dry. Too much reading. So see you next time. Probably on art. Definitely an improvement from the last chapter. This one, I'm gonna tell you that, although it was dark. I bet IA loved this. Yeah, bye-bye.